family and cultural values. These are Manion way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Black Friday starts early in the Georgetown Shopping District this Thursday with the Island Plaza and Kirk Freeport. From 5 till 8 p.m. this Thursday, the 28th of November, the Island Plaza, Cardinal Avenue, and Bayshore Mall will all be open till 8 p.m. to give you the first chance to get huge discounts on jewelry, watches, fragrances, sunglasses, and accessories, and much more at the Black Friday sale. Start your Black Friday shopping early this Thursday, the 28th of November in Georgetown. Search the Georgetown Shopping District on Facebook for more information.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Attention! Now hear this.
The jaw-dropping Black Friday Les Classiques sale event is here. 20, 40, up to 75% off store-wide. With clearance shoes as low as $10 and $20. 2 days only. This Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Don't miss the Les Classiques jaw-dropping Black Friday 2-day sale.
See you there. Trilogy Building, Mary Street.
The government claims the cruise berthing facility won't cost us a penny. It will be paid for by the cruise passenger who use it, not by our people or our government.
The fact is, you will be paying.
Because government is going to give the consortium development team, led by Royal Caribbean and Carnival, a portion of the cruise revenue that is currently being banked by government.
What's more, we will be repaying them
$450 million.
$250 million more
than what the facility even costs.
It's your vote, your future.
So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC. Just $12 each. And it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
Imagine a Cayman where you can go out and enjoy an evening with your family and get home safe and sound because you decided to do exactly what you said you would.
Or a night out with your girlfriends to bring in the new year with plans to head to as many venues as you can.
What about a happy hour with your colleagues to celebrate without worrying about who was driving you home? Well, guess what? Your wish is my command. Take the pledge, designate a driver, or ride the Purple Ribbon bus on New Year's Eve. We want you to arrive alive, 345. This message was brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I am Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio members of the production team for this weekend's Christmas Singing Tree down at the Lions Center. I'd like to put the spotlight back on Mrs. Jillian Nanku, part of the cast for this weekend. Can you tell us a bit more about what the spectators can look forward to as far as the show itself this weekend?
Well, it's going to be a great show. I mean, if you just want to come to a great show, that is what you are coming to. There's drama, there's dance, there's mime, there is really good choral singing. The musicians are good. The sound system's good. You're coming to have a wonderful evening when you can just bask in beautiful music and beautiful drama and production of every kind, you know?
Now, are the members of the cast, how many of the cast members are from overseas versus locally based, and how much time have you had to actually rehearse your pieces?
Well, I think rehearsals have been going on since September or so. Okay. The choir members are drawn from various churches across Grand Cayman. They're not just from First Assembly. Okay. So it's been a lovely mix of cultures and voices and everything. And the drama groups and the volunteers, because we're all volunteers for this production, are drawn from across the country. So it's a beautiful conjoining of the body of Christ and of the gifts that are in the body of Christ to put this together.
That's great. How many different countries are represented as far as from the cast?
Oh, I think they're
a lot. I mean, we have people from the United States, Caribbean, Jamaica. We have people from Honduras, Nicaragua.
That's great.
People from the UK. There are a lot of different people. I mean, it's drawn from a lot of the different aspects of the nationalities on the island. Because you were asking about the local as opposed to the overseas.
The international, yes.
I guess myself and Gillian would probably be the only two entities in it that are not based here.
And we have these two people who come in from the UK.
Yeah,
who've actually come in to do it every year.
Wow.
Yeah, to be part of it.
From the US.
Yeah, US.
They've come in to be a part of it. They come in every year. Very strategic part they play, actually. Very strategic part they play, without whom we couldn't do the production, because the part they play surrounds who it's about.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a great, it's exciting. Last night we had the grand rehearsal, and as I walked into the space, I just got just a feeling of excitement, that comes with putting on a production of this size. I really think that the audience is going to love it. And I really would just like to encourage everyone to come out and be a part of this wonderful, great event, because it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, it is. It's a fantastic family event, actually. It's the kind of event that, and there are very few events today that you can actually take your entire family to and know that you're going to see some wholesome stuff. But it is a family event. Again, it's free, and it begins at 6 o'clock on November the 30th. That's this coming Saturday. And December the 1st, that's this coming Sunday.
December already.
Yes, and I believe the gates will open from about 5:30, somewhere in that area. There is quite a lot of parking that will be available. I know persons can park at the First Assembly of God, which has a very large car park area. Also, I believe at the First Baptist, which is across the street from the Lion Center. There will be parking available, I believe, at the King's Sport Club, but that will only be on Sunday. I think there's some events there on Saturdays, only on Sunday at the King's Sports Club. And then, of course, you have it by the Grand Harbour, and there's some other, little spaces in between that persons can kind of drop their cars into.
But we suggest that they do not park roadside?
Well, roadside by the Lion Centre, as far as I understand from the authorities, are going to be restricted for the emergency vehicles that are there. Because we are dealing with an event with lots of electricity, lots of energy, lots of people that will be there. So we're making sure that the facilities for fire, health, and so on are available in the event of this nature. The police are also going to be on patrol and present. And then there are those persons that are working, the ushers, hostesses, and so on. The people will be helping with the parking in the area. There's parking in the Lion Centre as well, but I think that would be a little more restrictive. So it's kind of on a first come, first served basis. Once and there's filled, it's going to be one of the other areas that you'll have to use.
No, I would obviously encourage all of our listeners who are tending to come down to the event, come early for a free event like this on this type of weekend with this level of performance and international presence, stage production, and this level of production overall. It's definitely going to be an amazing sight. And the fact that you've made it free, and you've been able to make it free for everyone, is fantastic.
It's a great way to start the Christmas season.
Yeah, actually,
it's a great way to
people love
start
the
summer,
sense of nostalgia and music.
I think it's actually the premiere that mentions something about it being the signature event that kicks off the Christmas season for Cayman Islands. And, you know, being a free event, I'd say that, you know, there'll be refreshments on sale because we do have to raise funds to deal with the expenses. We still have opportunity for sponsors to get on board. And if you have an interest in that area, you can always give us a call at the church office, 945-2182, and you can speak there with Marie Eden. Or you can call the pastor of the church directly. That would be Pastor Torrance Bob, and his number, I hope he has no objection to me hearing it publicly, but he's 9165639, and he'll be happy to hear from anyone who would be willing to get on board and be a sponsor for the event. It is free. It is really top class. I have the opportunity of sharing with Gillian. We're both singers. And we shared in the tree back in Barbados. It was an exciting time back then. It's going to be just a great event.
I did not realize you were actually a singer as well.
So.
You managed to stay very quiet about 15 minutes ago when I put Mrs. Gillian on the spotlight. I think you might have just opened up a can of worms. We might have to.
Well, she's really a special lady when it comes to her vocals. And
you should be in sales. or law, maybe.
Actually, that is my background. My background is sales and marketing. Actually,
I have no doubt. You managed to completely deviate the spotlight again, right back onto Miss Julian. Are you able to offer our listeners a bit of a, as you called it, a taste?
Sing a little
what are the songs that I'm doing? I can't remember what they are.
Sing this little chat. Sing a little bit of this little chat.
I believe, and I will always sing, this little child is the king. Oh, I believe, and you will have to come to hear the rest.
He is the King of Kings.
I do love that. Thank you, both of you, for just so you know, the cameras that you see around you, you were streaming online while I was here.
Thanks for telling us at the end.
Yeah. Had I told you ahead of time, I might not have got the response I wanted. So I do appreciate that. So if you don't mind, Reverend Dr. Nichols, if you can just remind us, all of our listeners again, time and place for the event for this coming weekend.
November the 30th, that's this coming Saturday. December the 1st, this coming Sunday, at the Lion Center, every evening, 6 o'clock. Doors will open from around 5 o'clock, 5 to 5:30. It's a free event. It's a full family event. Refreshments will be on sale, and we look forward to seeing you in all of your numbers for that. And Gillian will be there, and we'll be happy to meet you. I'll be there, and we'll be happy to shake your hand and spend some time with you, preferably after the event, because we'll be reserving our energies to just deliver the music.
No, of course. Of course. Mrs. Gillian, anything else you want to add before we wrap up the segment?
I just want to say I look forward to seeing all of Grand Cayman. We want to be bursting at the seams. We want to be able to have to be looking for space for people to sit. We look forward to seeing all of you there on Saturday and Sunday.
As a matter of fact, there is a very special guest that's going to be in the event, but I'm going to keep that secret. Very special guest.
Okay, so that's our little hook there for the segment. There's been a special guest in the
very
audience.
Special guest.
In the audience or in the cast?
No, they're going to actually be performing in the tree, and I think Cayman would be more than pleased and happy to see that performance, and you're going to need to be there for that.
That's fantastic.
Right.
I love that little bit of mystery there, right? That's
sales and marketing.
So always leave them wanting more, right? That's the way it is. I love it. Mr. Jeff, anything else you wanted to include on the production element to encourage those to come on down?
No, if you haven't seen A Living Christmas Tree, please don't miss this. I've done them all over the world, and this is our most favorite place to be.
Great answer.
Beautiful.
We love that one. Oh, thank you so much. We
thank
do
you
a
so
quick
much.
commercial break, and then when we do come back, we have Pastor Alison Ebanks and Pastor Torrance Bob here to talk very briefly about the National Day of Thanksgiving. Be back with more Talk Today right after this.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points every time you use your Fidelity credit or prepaid cards. That's not all. When you use your card on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, Fidelity's giving you triple points. That means you have a whole weekend to rack up 3 times the points for travel, merchandise, and more. And with added protection of instant text alerts, 90-day purchase protection, and chip and PIN technology, you can shop with confidence. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Don't miss the big Black Friday appliance and mattress sale at Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park. Want to enjoy the biggest savings of the day? Then come early this Friday. Get 25% off from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. As the hours go by, the discounts will drop. Get 15% off from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 10% off 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Hurry in early. Don't lose the opportunity to save 25% off. Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Doors open at 7 a.m. Call 623-5000 for more information.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday weekend sale is bigger than ever, with up to 50% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, and accessories. And Kirk Freeport is giving early access to the sale on Thursday night, starting at 5 p.m. Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue will stay open until 8 p.m., and the Strand will remain open until 9 p.m. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including John Hardy, Roberto Coin, Swarovski, Bulgari, Chopard, Marco Bisigo, Brogian, Basica, Doves, Ippolita, Lagos, Kipling, and many more. Plus, take an additional 10% off all non-branded merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for details.
Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back for one whole week starting Monday, November 25th through Saturday, November 30th. Save big with assorted remnant tile, 200 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents per square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rug, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. It's the big blowout sale at Paramount Carpet, located 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 7:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpet.
Here's a reminder to all of our families in Cayman Brac to register for Saturday's Brac Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run, raising funds for the Leos Club of Cayman Brac. Registrations are being accepted until 6:15 a.m. Event times are as follows: runners at 6:15 and walkers at 6:30 a.m. All drivers are asked to exercise caution as a number of participants will be on the road. Fruits and water will be available for all participants, and the backyard farmers will be set up at the event. Join us Saturday, November 30th, 6:15 a.m., Southside Public Beach. Step by step, we can do it.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines. For more post-hurricane waste management tips, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Hi, my name is Neraya LeBlanc. I am the minister and evangelist to the West Bay Church of Christ on 24 Batabano Road. I would love to take this opportunity to invite you to experience God's family at West Bay for yourself. We are a caring congregation that strongly believes in reaching out beyond ourselves to spread the gospel of Christ. We also take great pleasure in ministering to the needs of our people in our community. As God's called out kingdom people, we are in the business of transforming lives for the Master's use. For more information, you can visit our website at westbaycichurchofchrist.org or call us at 946-9294 or 917-1809.
Declaring the word of the Lord. Cayman Islands Church of Christ presents Word of the Lord.
Word of the Lord, heard Sundays at 6:30 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Almost 600 doctors and nurses take care of health care and medical needs. Our public health nurses made 52,000 visits this year alone. For more information on strong public finances, visit gov.ky/strongeconomy.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio Pastor Alison Ebanks and Pastor Torrance Bob here to briefly discuss the National Day of Prayer and Cayman Thanksgiving. And I'll put the spotlight on Pastor Alison.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Good to be here. And well, I think this has started off. We recognize that we have much to thank God for here in Cayman, and whether we like it or not, there are various seasons that we memorialize in Cayman in different ways. We used to have a lot of different seasons that had to do with sports and with different activities, but one of the seasons that doesn't seem to want to go away is the hurricane season. And at the end of the hurricane season, sometimes we are left hurting, and other times we're left just thanking God that we were not the ones who were hurt. And this season, of course, everybody knows what happened there in the Bahamas with Hurricane Dorian. And, of course, in 2004, we had our own Hurricane Dorian, in a sense. And so reflecting on that, one of the things that has come out of it is to recognize that even though Cayman never had an official Thanksgiving Day. I mean, Canada has its Thanksgiving Day here in October or something like that. America, today is Thanksgiving Day in America. My wife is an American. She's preparing a turkey. I'm sorry for the turkey, but today is Thanksgiving Day. And so we, the Caymanians, decided, and back in 2014, we had our government, cabinet, decided that the first Sunday, so it's not a date, it's a day, the first Sunday in December would be our National Day of Thanksgiving, or Thanksgiving Day for us. Cayman Thanksgiving is called, Cayman Thanksgiving. And one of the things that we have tried to encourage people to do is to spread this idea by inviting people who may be just new to the island, visiting people in our, Cayman, well, you got 130-something different nationalities living here. And many times they have their own traditions, but they don't know what the Cayman traditions are. To invite them to your home so they can have some, like a Caymanian meal, the traditional type of Caymanian meal. So that's something that is now a formalized day, a national day of Thanksgiving, the first Sunday in December every year.
Now, can I ask, was that to commemorate the end of hurricane season?
That's part of it. Part of it is commemorating the end of the hurricane season, because that has always been, the fear. When spring and summer comes on, you're concerned of what's going to happen this hurricane season. And so it's commemorating that, but it's also commemorating God's goodness to the Cayman Islands in general. Cayman is one of those flukes in history, I think. I mean, what do we have to offer the island except the islands? I mean, here we are. It just happens to be just located about the right distance away from North America, and with the right orientation, so there are beaches on the lee side of the island instead of the other side, and we have some good waters and so forth. And along the line, some other things happen, which were human decisions, but I believe some of those human decisions are based on the kind of ethos that was developed over the years by the sort of people who came here as well. And so you had the work of missionaries, as educators and missionaries who came to help us with the gospel. And that created a mindset where people are conscious of the fact that we're so vulnerable that if it's not for the mercy of God, we would be wiped away and washed away. I mean, after all, Cayman doesn't have a lot of mountains to run to when the waves come running in. So that's one side. The other side, of course, we will, with Pastor Bob, we'll talk about, is the fact that we have associated a National Day of Prayer with this National Day of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Now, because of the way it works, sometimes the National Day of Prayer is before the Thanksgiving, Cayman Thanksgiving. Sometimes it's after, because we have it close to there, but it just happens this particular year the day of Cayman Thanksgiving is on Sunday, and our National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving is on Monday.
Monday the 2nd.
On the Monday the 2nd.
Okay.
But it doesn't, it's not always going to follow. Sometimes it'll precede, sometimes it'll follow.
Is there, so you've mentioned that the first Sunday in December was going to commemorate the opening of Cayman Thanksgiving. Is there a certain day that's assigned for the National Day of Prayer?
No, it is all, that is, I guess you say that's a movable feast, like some of the other things. We move it depending on how convenient it is and how close it can be to the National Day of Thanksgiving. So our Cayman Thanksgiving, as I said, sometimes it's before the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving, and this time it's reversed. That's all.
And the National Day of Prayer, that is a joint initiative with the various churches on island.
Yes,
right.
It is, okay.
Yeah, the Cayman Ministers Association.
Okay.
They have been organizing this for the last several years, where they encourage the populace to come and give thanks to God.
Now, is this from back in 2014 as well?
No. That's been going on longer than that.
Okay.
I don't know how many years ago we actually had started doing a time of prayer around Easter.
Okay.
So around Easter, we had again national. By national, we were calling everybody together to pray.
Of course.
In that sense, it's not something that's an official government-sanctioned event. It's something that the churches have done. And along the way, people have said, "Well, why are you doing this only once a year? Why are you doing it only once a year?" Well, there's no reason I wanted to do it once a year, but it does require some organization and getting people to move from one place to another. And in Cayman right now, moving from one place to another, unless you have a helicopter, is not that easy. And then once you move from one place to another, find a place to park.
Of course.
It becomes another strategic problem. So we started that a few years ago. I don't actually know the date. At this stage in my life, I pay attention to the day that I'm awake, and I don't remember how to worry about anything else.
Living in the moment, that's the way to do it.
Living in the moment. But I know it's been going on for a few years. Pastor Bob, I don't know if you have anything written down. How long
Yeah, I really don't know how long it's been going on, except this year it's going to be on Monday at 12 noon. It's going to be at the town hall.
Yeah. The town hall, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be at the town hall from 12 noon to 12:45. And we are really encouraging the populace to come out. I feel that it's extremely important. I can never forget Hurricane Ivan. After Hurricane Ivan, our churches were crowded. People were coming and giving thanks to God for sparing their lives. But, we tend to forget quickly.
Yes.
So once everything is going good, we forget where the blessing comes from. But I think it's important that we don't forget where the blessings come from. I mean, just this morning I was reading a story about 10 men who were lepers, and they went to Jesus for Jesus to heal them. He healed all 10. Only one went back and said thanks. And Jesus asked, were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? My point is that we should be thankful to God. The Bible says, in everything give thanks. You look at so many countries around the world. You look at the social, the economic upheaval that is taking place. Yes. God has spared us here in the Cayman Islands. The least we can do is to pause and say, thank you, God, for your blessing towards us.
Yeah, that's.
Is there more that we can do as well? You mentioned the least we can do. Is there more that we should be doing?
I think there's much more that we can be doing.
We have 45 seconds left in this segment. How much can you give me in 45 seconds?
Okay, we'd like to encourage as many as possible to be out on Monday at 12 noon at the town hall in Georgetown so that we can come together and give thanks to God just for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and carpool because parking is rare or scarce in Georgetown.
It is.
Yeah, carpool.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So December 1st, my apologies, is our Cayman Thanksgiving.
No, December 2nd.
And December 2nd.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
First is, you're correct.
Yeah,
so the first is Cayman Thanksgiving, which has been launched since 2014, and on Monday, 12 to 12:45 at Town Hall, the National Day of Prayer, and as Pastor Alcine Eubanks just said, carpool. Please do carpool. We have a traffic segment coming up later on in the show, and I'm sure carpooling will be the topic of that segment as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in, and happy American Thanksgiving and happy Cayman Thanksgiving this weekend.
Yeah, sorry for the turkey, but happy for the Thanksgiving.
Happy for
and thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Back with more talk today right after this.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Immigration is a top discussion topic during a recent trip to Cuba by a Cayman delegation. While in Havana for annual talks, the governor's office says the 2 days of discussion covered cooperation in immigration and customs areas, search and rescue coordination, maritime boundaries, and disaster management. The Cayman delegation is back on island now. In news elsewhere, Gordon Sondland, the U.S. ambassador to the EU, has been accused by 3 women of sexual misconduct. The allegations published by Portland Monthly magazine and ProPublica date back to before he became an ambassador. At the time of the alleged incidents, he was developing hotels in Portland and Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. At least 26 people have been killed in Iraq on one of the bloodiest days since anti-government protests began last month, medics and officials say. At least 20 people died when security forces opened fire to clear bridges in the southern city of Nasiriyah. Another 4 protesters died in Baghdad and 2 more in the city of Najaf, where the Iranian consulate was burnt. Iraqis have been taken to the streets to demand more jobs, an end to corruption, and better public services. And Hillsborough match commander David Duckingfield has been found not guilty of the gross negligence manslaughter of 95 Liverpool fans in the 1989 disaster. The former South Yorkshire Police Chief Superintendent, 75, was cleared after a 7-week retrial of Preston Crown Court. The jury at his original trial earlier this year failed to agree a verdict. Duckingfield was in charge of the FA Cup semi-final at which 96 Liverpool fans died. Those are your latest updates here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
Did you know that in the event of a hurricane, water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use? Water may be disinfected either by boiling or through the use of chlorine bleach. To disinfect through boiling, simply leave the water on the fire for 1 minute after it begins to boil. To disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. If you are not able to smell the bleach in the water after 30 minutes, then add half of the amount of bleach that was added during the initial application. Recheck the water after 15 minutes to ensure that there is a residual bleach smell. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For more post-hurricane safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman has always worked to showcase the best of our sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. From coverage of the agriculture shows, special Talk Today broadcasts, and church services. 4 years ago, we launched the Brac Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. In our inaugural year, we raised funds for the Harmony Learning Center. In year 2, for the Lions Club of Cayman Brac Kids Pantry. And last year, the So and So Club. This year, the Brac Breeze Fusion will be raising funds for the Leo's Club of Cayman Brac. To all of our Cayman Brac families, invite you to join us on Saturday, November 30th at 6:30 a.m. Southside Public Beach. Step by step, we can do it. Cayman Brac, yes, it is your turn. The Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. Register today at District Administration.
Listening to the general public. The Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Radio Cayman to Talk Today.
Because
there are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman waiting to take your calls right now.
What the public would think.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who has the day off. Hope he's enjoying his time out on the beach. Just now, we just had in studio members of this coming weekend's the Singing Christmas Tree. That's Saturday, November 30th and Sunday, December 1st at the Lions Center at 6 p.m. And just now in studio, Pastor Nelson Ebanks and Pastor Torrance as well here to talk about the Cayman Thanksgiving this coming Sunday and the National Day of Prayer this coming Monday. Now, we do have open line here for the next 20 minutes, so if you do have anything you would like to discuss, quite a bit going on in the news these days, from the rise in dengue cases, and we hear our PSAs running on a regular basis, to concerns in Cayman Brac over the potential for the satellite Cayman Turtle Center. Quite a bit. Obviously, we have our report discussions and no shortage of commentary on traffic and matters emanating from our family or from our judicial system. So any topics you may have that you want to discuss, please do give us a call, 1-800-534-TALK. That's 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Or you can always WhatsApp us at 925-3261. An interesting topic that has been coming out of the BRAC was the comments in regards to the DOE warning, rather, over the proposed BRAC Turtle Center. That was an interesting conversation with funds being approved over the next 2 years for preparing the business case for the BRAC, and concerns emanating from DOE that the plans might run into some challenges with regards to regulations. If you have any comments on that, we would like to hear from our Cayman Brac listeners. Please do give us a call. The number again is 1-800-534-TALK. It's 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261 as we await our guests from Jasmine. We are awaiting Miss Carrie McMillan and Miss Danielle Coleman here to discuss the Light Up a Life Evening of Remembrance and their general fundraising initiatives. While we wait for them, we do have Dr. Kendrick Webster coming in later on this afternoon at 1:30 here to discuss the increasing traffic issues that we are all facing every morning as commuters. I'm sure there's no shortage of comments out there amongst the listening public. What can be done? We all know there's traffic out there, but what are the suggestions that you have for improving the traffic? Can we see a potential down the road of carpooling become the norm? Are we looking at consumer changes in our behavior, and instead of everyone driving a car to work, we see four seats in a car lit up? We see bicycle lanes coming down the road. Can we see rollerblading coming down the road? We had the very unfortunate tragedies from last week with the pedestrians that were unfortunately struck by vehicles, and that's the reality of mixing in pedestrians and large motorized vehicles. And what are we looking at as far as a community for how we can rectify that and make pedestrian commuting a more regular and more safe scenario. We've seen bike lanes being put in, but are we looking at a scenario where we need a physical barrier separating, and how do we manage those elements? I know we recently discussed, or I've seen discussions rather, of potential for busing of private school students to schools, since those groups tend to be commuter-driven schools. And how do we manage that? The logistics behind managing a situation where, as we know, private schools aren't zoned by districts. So whereas we have students from Prospect living in the Prospect area that will attend Prospect Primary School, that same methodology doesn't apply to our private schools. And does that make the busing of students counterproductive? Big conversation that needs to be had in that regard. Are we, again, I go back to the carpooling scenario. We drive home every day. More often than not, we're seeing one head per vehicle. Theoretically, in the theoretical sense, if there were 4 heads per vehicle, we would cut our traffic down by a quarter. What does that mean? How do we manage that? How do we safely navigate those waters? How do we manage that when it comes to kids and transporting to school? And do we look at staggered work times? That was one of the other options that I did read about, which makes a lot of sense on paper. If we stagger how we look at our day-to-day work hours and our business hours, instead of the standard 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 5, with school starting before then, if we looked at whether we staggered school times, whether we staggered work times and made more shift work realistic, whether we look at home-based work being a scenario where, in environments where computers have taken on so much of the necessity of the day-to-day operations, can we look at a scenario down the road where half of our population can do their work from home via a computer? What does that mean for productivity? What does that mean for pay? What does that mean for compensation, overall compensation? There's a lot that does go into the conversation of traffic congestion. The other big element of that being public transportation. We hear a lot from our callers, and we see in the online comments and newspaper articles of the concerns with public transportation, or rather the lack of in that regard. Are we looking at a system down the road where the monorail kind of system is the way to go? How do we function with that? How do we logistically maneuver a train system into the community? So again, lots of scenarios there that are lots of moving parts rather to the conversation. And I think many would agree that there is no one fit option for this. We definitely do need a multi-prong approach to addressing traffic, from the road expansion to, while I'm never a big fan of increased legislation on consumer behavior, but is the regulation of importation of vehicles down the road a real possibility? Regulation of size of vehicles, regulation of types of vehicles that are brought in, and regulation of the number of vehicles overall that do show up on our shores year to year. So again, that conversation is coming up at 1:30 with Dr. Kendrick Webster. Please do tune in for that important one. If you do have any suggestions that you do want to offer the conversation, please again give us a call, 1-800-534-TALK. That's 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. On that note, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back more Talk Today right after this.
Think about something that makes you happy. Did it make you smile? We know it did, because that's what we do at Sagicor. Put smiles on our clients' faces every day. With a large range of products to cover your family, it's no wonder most locals choose Sagicor for their life insurance needs. Serving the community for over 25 years. Let us put a smile on your face. Call your Sagicor advisor today.
Boy, it's that time time again.
Wait, ain't you talking about Christmas come already?
No, fooling. It's rundown time again.
Rundown again? Boy, last year I was popping up in that theater. Best believe I going.
Not without me.
Well, what we waiting on? There we go.
Don't miss Rundown, the hilarious annual comedy review, starting Thursday, November 14th at 8 p.m. at the Harkwell Theater. Tickets on sale now. Visit archcayman.org or call 949-5477 for more information.
Living in the Cayman Islands today, it's fascinating in every way. So once a year we have to sit down and laugh at all of
A Cayman National Cultural Foundation production. Sponsored by Logic, Island Heritage, Big Fish, and Hurley's Media.
This holiday, Logic is helping you mix and match. So whether it's reggae jingle bells or wearing plaid with Santa sweaters, anything goes. It's all about the freedom to choose, like mixing and matching your Logic services. The more you spend, the more you save. Plus, we're doubling our internet speeds, which means you're getting the island's fastest internet at up to 30% less than the competition. It's like Christmas all year round. Visit logic.ky to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Run off the extra helping of turkey dinner and give back in a big way this Thanksgiving. Register now for the Meals on Wheels Turkey Trot 5K and 10K Fun Walk Run on Saturday, November 30th at the Holiday Inn Resort in Safe Haven. Registration is only $25 and there are lots of spot prizes to be won and complimentary omelet station. Help Meals on Wheels fight senior hunger in the Cayman Islands. Visit mealsonwheels.ky or register at caymanactive.com. See you there.
The 7 a.m. News, Monday through Friday, brought to you by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. We do have a few more minutes of open line until Dr. Kendrick Webster joins us to discuss the recent traffic concerns. If you do have anything to discuss, please give us a call, 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037, or you can always WhatsApp us your questions at 925-3261. Two other discussions. Points I would like to throw out to the listeners again. We mentioned the rising case of dengue fevers that have been growing here in Cayman. Currently, the numbers show 23 confirmed cases, 14 of which were locally transmitted and 9 of which were imported. If you are experiencing any of the concerns, any of the symptoms of dengue fever, those include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint or muscle pain, and rash. Do contact your local doctor or medical practitioner and do look into those. And we managed to track down, thankfully he was early today, Dr. Kendrick Webster, who is joining us. So again, if you are feeling any of these symptoms of the dengue fever, which include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint or muscle pain, and rash, please do give your medical practitioner a call. One other quick item that I did want to mention really briefly was in regards to the plans for the national survey. Reading in the article, given the potential delay in the referendum, the national survey, which was being conducted by Georgetown MLA, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, is potentially going to be delayed as well. And some of the questions that pertain to that, very important questions that we hear about on Talk Today on a regular basis. And that's questions pertaining to a national lottery, legalized casinos, the conversation regarding same-sex marriage or same-sex civil unions, and the decriminalization and potential legalization of marijuana beyond medical use. Now, we do have one caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How can we help you today?
Yeah, is this Dwayne?
This is Raymond Singh. I'm filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne, but by all means, you can call me Dwayne.
Yeah, my name is Steve McField.
Hi, Mr. McField. How are you, sir?
Very good, and I would like to make a comment about the traffic.
Sure, you have a traffic concern. Yes, we have Dr. Kendrick Webster here as well, and we're going to be exploring that conversation. But what is your question or comment?
Well, let me just let you know that I've spent most of my time on boards on one of the boards, the NRA from the July 2004 when it was separated from the other authority. It was when it was made into an authority.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So from Public Works by the Honorable Gilbert McLean. I was one of the people there. I was the director there. And when I went to work on the roads authority, I did not know anything about roads and so forth. And so I took time out of my legal practice, and I went and I did a course that's put on by University of Manchester in London. The course is put on by the World Bank and the IMF, and it's for senior road executives, and it's called Road Management and Road Financing. And I learned a lot about roads, the road systems, and how they work and everything. And we don't need any monorail here. That is another red herring. It's because we can't fix the small things, then we go and try to do something bigger. The problem is that we already have. When I was a member of the Roads Authority, we already asked them to the members of the Roads Authority, the engineers and the planners, to do a study and for a public transportation system. So they already have that. They already have that plan from Little Bluff in East End. That's on the Queens Highway all the way to West Bay. Nothing has been done because there's no money in it. Because the National Roads Authority law calls for a roads fund in which the taxes from diesel and the taxes from gasoline and the taxes that you pay to get your car registered and your driver's license and the impact fee goes into that fund roads, but that doesn't happen. The money goes into the central government, and different ministers take it out when they feel like they need it for their ministries and stuff and things like that. And so there's no money for the roads, and so they got to be scraping that money to do roads here and there. I passed some road works up on the past Hurley's going east for weeks now. They've been one little piece of road. It takes so long to solve a problem that by the time they get this problem solved, another problem crops up, and then they have 2 problems or 3 problems on their hands. That's the problem that we have. We don't need any monorail. What we need is a functioning national ground transportation system with a bus system that can move people quickly and move them regularly and on time around the country. If you can't go and start banning cars or limited the amount of cars that comes into the country until you have a national ground transportation system that's an alternative for people to get to work and to move. But what we do is that we don't plan ahead. What we do is that we react and we don't proact. We should have had this thing planned long time ago, because when I came back from England, I started to revise the national transportation, the NRA law, to put in a system, and the objections you get from changing things, they say, and so we're not going to get this until you have people, innovative people in the right positions, in the NRA too, and politicians who are willing to develop their country and not to put all their eggs in one basket. We needed to do that, the plan. I was trying to tell them. One time, Vancouver, British Columbia had the same system, and they brought in a man called Master Erickson, who was one of the top urban planners and urban architects in Canada, and he sorted that whole thing out for them. They're not going to get anything done here. They don't put money in the right places. They're doing cruise ship dock. They should put money in a national ground transportation plan that is reliable, that can move people quickly, and they can move people faster and that's on time. And then you will see that you will have all this road traffic, but nobody's thinking about that because it doesn't bring in a lot of money to people quickly and make them rich. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Field. I appreciate you calling in. Dr. Kenrick, now formally, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on Talk today.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Thank you. You just listened to the President caller, Dr. Steve McPhail, in respect to his concerns and some of the things that he was involved with. And these are some things that I am also going to be addressing this afternoon. And I just want to concur with him in respect to the monorails, if that's an idea that is being proposed. But as far as the for the listening audience, I just want to say that myself, I am involved in the tourism aspect of the transportation, but I've been a member of the Government Public Transportation Board for many years, and it's not one of my interests to be directly involved with the public transport side of it, to actually be as one of the persons who are carrying out that business. However, it is my concern to be involved in the development of a proper public transportation system. And I will lend my expertise as I've been into the transportation business now for 29 years. And I've seen different systems, I've understand different transportation system and the logistics that is actually required to help move people from point A to point B. But we must first, pause and say, what is the definition of traffic congestion, as it is quietly known, throughout the world. And on some research, it says there is no universal accepted definition of traffic congestion. However, there are alternate definitions when it comes to traffic congestion. Example, traffic congestion occurs when someone is traveling and the travel demands exceed the existing road system capacity. Another situation is congestion is a condition in which the number of vehicles attempting to use a roadway at any time, and it exceeds the ability of the roadway to carry the load at generally acceptable service levels. In other words, basically what this means in a nutshell is that when more people wish to travel all at the same time, the transportation system on the roads cannot accommodate the traffic flow. This is a case of demand exceeding supply. And this is what we're experiencing on a day-to-day basis in the mornings and in the evenings. And this is why we have what we call a traffic rush. And this is affecting the livelihoods of many people who commute on a daily basis, whether or not it's to work or as part of their business. And, I'm here to also show not only my concerns, but to just also give some solutions or some suggestions on how we can try to basically alleviate some of these traffic situations that we have on the island. So that is the main purpose that I'm on the show here this afternoon. And, as Dr. McPhail had mentioned earlier, in respect to some of the situations that we're having. It's a short-term Band-Aid fix that we see on a daily basis with the road construction. However, I think we need to look on a long-term plan, and we need to have a vision for the next 35 to 40 years in respect to public transportation system in this island. Unless we decide that we're going to look that far down the road, then we're always going to have this situation where there's a Band-Aid fix. Now, it's important for us, if we have this vision, that it's not interrupted. Because I remember having the Master Ground Transportation Plan, which was being designed, and it was not followed through. And what it did at the end of the day, it cost us dearly. Because at the end of the day, buildings were constructed in the pathway or in areas close by of the Master Ground Transportation, and then we end up having to purchase land at a very high cost. So I think we need to look on this as a long-term plan, put it in action, and start working towards it. And this is the only way that we're going to make an effective transportation system and to try to help alleviate some of the traffic congestions that we have on our roads today.
Thank you for that. We do have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, if we can touch back on that Master Ground Transportation Plan, I would like to explore some of the options that were in that plan back then that could still be applied to today and to that 35 to 40 year plan down the road. We'll be back with more Talk Today right after this.
Starting November 1st to December 31st, you can earn double points every time you use your Fidelity credit or prepaid cards. That's not all. When you use your card on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, Fidelity's giving you triple points. That means you have a whole weekend to rack up 3 times the points for travel, merchandise, and more. And with added protection of instant text alerts, 90-day purchase protection, and chip and PIN technology, you can shop with confidence. Fidelity. We're good for you.
CUC advises motorists in Northside exercise caution on weekdays between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. during November and early December, as CUC's crews will be conducting aggressive tree trimming in the Northside area. Due to excessive growth, the trees and vegetation along portions of Northside Road, Rum Point Drive, and Water Cay Road have become an imminent safety hazard to power lines and must be trimmed back immediately. CUC utilizes 2 subcontractors, Utility Maintenance and Construction and Power Services Cayman, to perform the necessary tree trimming. These contractors use qualified linemen who are certified arborists, utilizing professional tree pruning techniques to ensure safe and effective tree trimming and to promote the healthy regrowth of trees. CUC asks for the public's cooperation during the upcoming weeks to exercise caution and due diligence when driving in Northside, and to be on the lookout for the bright orange utility work ahead signage, as there will be temporary lane blockages and traffic management in place. For more information, contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Attention! Now hear this.
The jaw-dropping Black Friday Le Classique sale event is here. 20, 40, up to 75% off store-wide. With clearance shoes as low as $10 and $20. 2 days only. This Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Don't miss the Le Classique jaw-dropping Black Friday 2-day sale.
See you there. Trilogy Building, Mary Street.
Black Friday starts early in the Georgetown Shopping District this Thursday with the Island Plaza and Kirk Freeport. From 5 till 8 p.m. this Thursday, the 28th of November, the Island Plaza, Cardinal Avenue, and Bayshore Mall will all be open till 8 p.m. to give you the first chance to get huge discounts on jewelry, watches, fragrances, sunglasses, and accessories, and much more at the Black Friday sale. Start your Black Friday shopping early this Thursday, the 28th of November in Georgetown. Search the Georgetown Shopping District on Facebook for more information.
Ocean Med is open for appointments at Bayshore Mall. The only healthcare facility on island designed exclusively for women offers a wide range of radiology-based medical screening and diagnostic tests, such as mammograms and ultrasounds, with state-of-the-art technology, full OBGYN services, a complimentary healthcare coordinator, and a stunning facility equipped with calming, multi-sensory exam suites. Ocean Med is dedicated to providing competitively priced healthcare excellence to women in our community. Book your appointment today. Call 946-2326 or visit oceanmed.ky.
Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back for one whole week starting Monday, November 25th through Saturday, November 30th. Save big with assorted remnant tile, 200 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents per square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rug, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. It's the big blowout sale at Paramount Carpet, located 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 7:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpets.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go, good and cleaner.
It's party time and Christmas time, so let Puritan Cleaners help you to be ready with 10% off prepay on all ladies and gents wearing apparel and household items. Same day and following day service. Regular price. Offer good until December 10th at all stores. Savannah, Countryside, 946-1884. Elgin Avenue by Off the Peg, 949-2452. Eastern Avenue, rain or shine, 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Listening to the general public.
The Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Because
There are more questions than answers.
waiting to take your calls right now.
What the public is saying.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for today's show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we have in studio Dr. Kendrick Webster here. We're discussing, or about to really delve into the discussion on the traffic problems, traffic congestion that we have seen since school started. And when school started was when we really noticed the heavy-hitting traffic in the mornings. And one of the things that I do want to put out there on traffic is we know it's a problem. There's no doubt about it. But when we really look at it at its true value, it is a really much a first world problem. It's a good problem to have. What it means is that we're all driving in cars with AC. We're not walking to work. We have relatively stable and safe road systems. And I say relatively because we did have some recent very unfortunate tragedies that did occur. But the reality is I brought the conversation earlier on carpooling, is when we look at our vehicle counts on the road, we see many of the vehicles driving into town from our eastern districts or from south from our West Bay districts that have one driver in them, one person in that vehicle and 4 empty seats. Very much a first world scenario where we have those number of vehicles and that many of empty seats. The only people that are really benefiting from those are the gas stations, right? Like for every one of those empty seats is a extra vehicle on the road, theoretically, in the morning. That's just 4 times the number of vehicles. If we had everyone carpooling and there was 4 people in each vehicle and we could work out logistics behind that, we're talking about a quarter of the cars that are on the road during rush hour. What are your thoughts on carpooling in general? Do we see a day come where carpooling becomes the consumer behavior that we see in morning drive time?
Yeah, well, carpooling is it works in some areas and not in all areas that it will work. But I think it happens from time to time. But I think what we need to look at is a proper public transportation system. And by implementing a proper public transportation system, that's going to help alleviate a lot of the traffic congestion. Because many of the cars that are put on the road today, they are placed on the road by persons who basically are forced to, register a car because the public transportation system is not reliable. How do we get that to be reliable? We need to ensure that there's some laws that need to be changed. The government need to have a different approach in respect to making sure that it's managed properly. Currently, you have independent operators that if they decide that they want to, work for 3 hours and they finish at the end of the day, then they go home. The system is not managed. If they decide that they want to drop you off halfway on their trip going to East End, then they do it and there's no consequences. The current public transportation inspectors do not have the powers to issue tickets when violations like that occur. So it's a very tedious process.
So when you brought up the laws that need to be changed, was that one of the elements you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. So what are some of the other laws that would need to be adjusted from, if we want to put in a proper public transportation system that really does start with the legislation behind how, because that's going to be the framework behind which we can actually develop a system. What are some of the laws that need to be changed or adjusted to bring that into fruition?
Well, I mean, like Dr. McPhail mentioned, some of the laws are there, but in respect to the road funds, you definitely need to have a proper road fund that basically can manage the affairs. So, for example, when you develop the public transportation system and you need to put in bus shelters, the funds would be there. If you need to put in an extra lane, the funds would be there. And these are some of the things that definitely need to be done. But in respect to persons who are commuting and want to use the public transport system, there's no proper schedule right now. There's not even, like, for example, in some countries, you have like apps where people can log in. They can actually see exactly what the bus schedule is like, and they can actually participate into that process. But the main thing right now is that the system is not reliable. How do we get it reliable? Well, it's a hard approach. You need to basically privatize maybe 2 or 3 different companies. Or government need to take, like in some countries, when you look at Singapore, which has rated the top best transportation system, the government got involved. Barbados is one of our islands that the government got involved in.
So what in Singapore, what was the government's involvement with regards to implementing, developing, and maintaining?
Well, they actually...
is it a government system?
Yeah, it's a government system. And this is a similar thing that they did in Barbados. The government put in the system. They had drivers. They run the system. And then you'd also do have private systems that are also out there. But the government decided they were going to invest because instead of investing in roads, they turned around and made sure that it was managed properly, and they actually put in the system. And this done in many of developing countries. That's the only way that we're going to move forward with this public transport. It has to have some sort of teeth in the law. It also have to be managed properly. Even if you have 2 or 3 different private companies that are doing, for example, if there's one company that is doing the eastern side of the island, another company that is doing 7 Mile Beach and West Bay, because there's like 2 different routes there, then you have 3 people that you have to account that are accountable to the government. You don't have 600 or 700 people that you have to chase down. If there's an issue with the Eastern District schedule, then you speak to that particular operator or person who the contract has been awarded to. And I think this is where we're going to see a big difference when you can, have people that are going to be accountable for what is happening out there. And that's going to be the start for the public transportation system. Now, in respect to the traffic on the roads, how do you encourage people to use the public transport system? They're going to say, you know what? why should I take the public transport if the traffic situation is bad? So we need to look on maybe having a developed lane where that lane is specifically for emergency vehicles, public transport vehicles, and even cyclists, motorists, persons who are riding scooters, Hondas. If you have a designated lane, in some places they do.
So like the HOV lane style that we have in Florida?
Yes.
Okay, so the HOV is like for high occupancy vehicles. Would that theoretically work with carpooling as an option as well? So like those who are choosing to carpool have a faster lane?
Yeah, well, that could also work, but the main idea is to actually get people, encourage and to use the public transportation system. And that is one of the things that we could actually implement. By doing so, I guess that you're going to have quite a few people that will be attracted to say, you know what, listen, I am going to be using public transport system because I'm not going to be stuck in traffic for another 45 minutes versus if I'm just driving my car. So that is one way.
So are you suggesting to build a third lane on those 2-lane roads, or are you saying to isolate one of those 2 lanes to become a lane strictly for emergency vehicles and public transport purposes?
In some cases where you have the dual carriageway right now, there's a lot of space there that you can make a third.
Okay, so it's okay.
In some cases where the road restrictions does not allow that, then you can reduce it down to 1 for the regular customers during that peak time.
Okay. So these are peak time suggestions.
Peak time schedule.
Okay.
Right?
But public transport would operate on a 24, or not 24/7 necessarily, but a 18-hour rough day is what we're looking at. Is that roughly what we'd be looking at for public transport, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. kind of scenario?
Well, currently it's about sometimes from 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Yes. And some drivers will be up until about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But with the public transportation system, we need to look on later hours because there's people who are working in the hotel industry and even in some of the gas stations and stuff like that that need transportation. And what do they do at late hours like that? So this thing need to be almost 24 hours.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we do have one caller on the line. Caller, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What's your question?
Concern the traffic problem.
Yes, sir.
Well, there's going to have to come a time when government is going to have to put laws in place concerning how many vehicles are allowed to come in here on this island. Because after these vehicles become unrepairable, we're going to have the same problem as we're now having with the Georgetown dump. But when it comes to the traffic problem presently, people have to realize that they have to do their part. We see that it's a problem. Everybody's leaving home practically at the same time in the morning and after work in the evening. And there has to be carpooling. For example, if you have a family who has 4 or 5 people staying in a home, in order for the traffic problem not to get as bad as it is and to make it better, it's better for them to use 1 car to go into town in the morning instead of 4 or 5. And the same thing can be done going back home if they're staying together or even staying close by. Even neighbors can do this. But people have to do their part, because building roads, allowing more people to bring in cars, and everyone driving into town in the morning to work at the same time, and everyone driving home from work in the evening at the same time, is not going to solve the problem. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you. And I just want to add to what the callers say there. That is definitely a fact. When you asked earlier about carpooling, you do have situations where people, like he said, 4 or 5 people in one house, and you got 5 cars.
Leave that house every day.
Yeah, so that is a problem, and unless we understand, that the same times every day is going to cause the same traffic situation. Now, what I did recently, and I think this is something that, maybe the government could also look at in respect to having a consultation with some of the major firms and companies out there, corporate companies. Look on the most congested area, which is like on the eastern side right now.
Yeah.
I have some of my employees that are on the eastern side of the island. I've changed up their work schedule
hours.
time,
Yes,
work time. Just bring them in half hour earlier, and they can leave half hour early later.
Okay.
So, in that respect, with those cars, they're off the road
during that peak time.
Yeah, during that peak time. Plus, they will feel much better to know they're out of the traffic. It's a much more healthier environment for them to work in. So I think we need to start looking on the needs and how we can help the employees in that respect. And I think this is where it needs to be a comprehensive and cohesive effort on all parties, so that you can go in and say, for example, you have like Cayman National Bank, for example. That's a big company. A lot of their employees are on the eastern side of the island, and maybe 30 minutes might not seem like a lot, but you can probably take almost about 50 to 100 cars off the road within 30 minutes.
It's not a lot of time, but what it is 30 extra minutes of peace of mind.
Yes.
It's 30 extra minutes of less stress on your family at nighttime, getting home after you're frustrated after sitting in traffic for an hour and a half. And that 30 minutes compounds when you get home at night. Because it's not just 30 minutes you've just saved. It's 30 minutes of stress and sitting in traffic, plus the extra 45 minutes that you would have taken to decompress when you got home after sitting in that traffic. On that note, we do have a quick commercial break to take, and then we have 3 callers on the line. This is a heavy topic, and many people with a lot to say about the topic. Be back. More Talk Today right after this.
Don't miss the big Black Friday appliance and mattress sale at Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park. Want to enjoy the biggest savings of the day? Then come early this Friday. Get 25% off from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. As the hours go by, the discounts will drop. Get 15% off from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 10% off 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Hurry in early. Don't lose the opportunity to save 25% off. Brand Source Home Gallery in Industrial Park on Dorsey Drive. Doors open at 7 a.m. Call 623-5000 for more information.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday weekend sale is bigger than ever, with up to 50% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, and accessories. And Kirk Freeport is giving early access to the sale on Thursday night, starting at 5 p.m. Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue will stay open until 8 p.m., and the Strand will remain open until 9 p.m. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including John Hardy, Roberto Coin, Swarovski, Bulgari, Chopard, Marco Bisigo, Brogian, Masica, Doves, Ippolita, Lagos, Kipling, and many more. Plus, take an additional 10% off all non-branded merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for details.
Ambitious, determined, beautiful, and unapologetically uncompromising. You have set the bar high. Now let High Fashion and Design Studio take you to the next level. Full service hair and nail salon carrying the top designer brands: Calvin Klein, Nine West, shoes, clothing, accessories, quality dressmaking, tailoring, and custom designs. High Fashion and Design Studio, located in Cayman Trade Center, 199 Eastern Avenue, across from Bananas Restaurant. Call 945-4415 to book your high fashion and design experience today. Be bold, be true, be you.
As a Caymanian, it's very important to me that projects like this are thought of thoroughly before continuing.
My question is, do we need it? And I've not yet been fully convinced that we need it, nor have I been fully convinced that we don't need it. So
what guarantee do we have that these ships are going to continue to come?
Please make the right decision.
Please don't let the catchy songs overturn you. Please support the referendum. Please ensure that you are supporting sustainable tourism, not just money-making tourism.
If the project plans have changed, even though it might be insignificant on paper, it's going to be significant for the environment.
They need to release official information, official facts.
That's where I am right now. I want to know, I want more information on do we need it.
It's your vote, your future.
So make a decision based on fact.
You deserve the whole truth.
The public is invited to a special small business edition of Saturday Night Live in Georgetown in association with the Cayman Islands Small Business Association and Cayman Thanksgiving, Saturday, November 30th, 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Cardinal Avenue. Enjoy a celebration of live music, local food with special Gimme Story performances. Visit the Georgetown Revitalization and Cayman Islands Small Business Association Facebook page for more details.
Listening to the general public.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Because
there are more questions than answers.
Waiting to take your calls right now.
What the public is saying.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio Dr. Kenrick Webster. Very hot topic today on the state of traffic developments in Cayman, and we have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Hello. Good afternoon. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, you. I was listening to you for the last 10 minutes in regards about the traffic and carpooling. Mr. Webster, carpooling in the Cayman Islands. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. You can have 5 and 10 cars in one yard. Everybody has a different direction to go. Oh, I'm not coming back home now. I'm not going your direction. All of that stuff, you'll hear from people. So I doubt very much that we will get a carpooling in the Cayman Islands because everybody has a plan before work or after work. And, talking about our roads, the worst thing that we could have ever got in Cayman is these roundabouts. They should have gave us more red lights here and there, and it probably would help some because right now when you're doing a roundabout, you got an inner lane and you got an outer lane, and you got people in the inner lane who want to come back over to the outer lane, causing accidents. It happened almost with me today, and these people are driving and they don't have no consideration. They don't use the indicators, and it's just a bunch of selfishness on the road. We got motorbikes riding between the cars when you're driving on the road. You don't even know they're up on you until you hear this big noise up by your door or your window, whatever the case may be. I really truly believe that we need some sort of reconstruction of our road buildings because they are not working in no capacity. And Mr. Webster, a Saturday in the Cayman Islands is like a working Monday throughout practically the whole island. And what they're going to do to stop all of this, they say we need to stop bringing in cars. We need to and do carpooling. What about the car dealers here that got to sell their cars? Like Mr. Miller said, we have a lot of cars here that are not roadworthy in another man's country. Why we have some of them in our country and they're not as great of roadworthy on our roads? And I no disrespect to them, but I really believe that some of them need to be looked into because when you see some of these vehicles on the road, you wonder where they came from. Did they just went to the garbage dump, pick it up and drive it up with a license plate on it and put some gas in it because of the condition? No disrespect to anybody's vehicle, don't get me wrong, please. But the fact of the matter is, we're not going to get this problem solved, making more roads and making more lanes and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to work. And about going up in the air, not even that going to work, Mr. Webster, because they have no foresight when they come to the population and the vehicles and these roundabouts. They are dangerous. Now they're cutting off partial of the roundabouts to make more lanes or blocking it off. We cannot drive into the inner lane to a certain degree of driving. You follow me? So it is a big confusion. And all I got to say about this situation, where we get our engineers to come here and do what they do for this Cayman Islands, all we're doing is wasting money. Every time the government fixed one road, a company come in and dig it up and do not put it back to what they find it as, mashing up our vehicles on the road. And we're in the garage, and we can't go and tell the government or Logic or one of those, hey, you just messed up the road with your digging up holes in water turkey. You never work. It will never work in Cayman, believe me, because everybody wants to go a different direction before work and after work. I just thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Caller, thank you for calling in, and you've definitely raised a number of points there. And I think if I could isolate some of the comments that she made, this really does need a multi-pronged approach. It really, there's not any one fix-all for anything. And she brought up the roundabouts. Any comment you want to offer on the roundabouts there?
Well, the thing is, I mean, definitely with the roundabouts, what has happened is that we put in a system and we didn't educate people how to use the system. And that is where the frustration is today. It's still not too late. There have been different videos, different things that has been put out there in respect to and diagrams from the NRA in respect to using the roundabouts. But what is the proper consultation, getting out into the community, getting people who has been driving for the last 50 years, has been driving for the last 50 years, and when these roundabouts came into effect, they were not told or did not shown exactly what the correct procedures were in respect to using these roundabouts. In addition to that, not only we have a 2-lane roundabout, we end up with a 3-lane. Again, there was some consultation, but to what extent? Of course. I think we need to re-educate a lot of people in respect to using the roundabouts, because it's important that if we're going to implement a system, we're going to make sure that the users who are the persons using these roundabouts or whatever roads we're going to be developing, that they understand how important it is to do the correct thing. Of course. Otherwise, it's not going to be safe for them and safe for pedestrians and safe for other people. So that is my concern in respect to the roundabouts, I think.
And a very fair one.
Yes.
A very fair one. I do have a few more questions on the roundabouts, but we do have a news break to take. Let's take a quick news update, and we'll be back with more Talk Today right after this.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news. Access to information. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team. Today's biggest news.
Following an 18-month planning process, Health City Cayman Islands breaks ground on a purpose-built dedicated cancer treatment center. The project, first announced in August 2018, will allow Health City Cayman Islands to provide greatly expanded oncology treatment options, including medical oncology, surgical oncology, and radiation therapy, in addition to being a bone marrow transplant facility. In news elsewhere, Turkey's foreign minister has accused French President Emmanuel Macron of being a sponsor of terrorism, dismissing the French leader's criticism of Turkey's Syria offensive. Turkey's foreign minister told reporters that Mr. Macron wanted to be the leader of Europe but was wobbling. Last month, Mr. Macron hosted a senior official from the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces. Turkey views a section of the group, the YPG, as terrorists. The beloved balloons flew, but lower than usual, in a windy Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade after an anxious weather watch. Winds had threatened to ground the giant inflated characters, but officials announced less than an hour before Thursday's start time that the balloons could fly if in a down-to-earth way. As the parade continued, even while city emergency officials sent out a public alert about wind gusts, handlers struggled with some balloons and pulled them close to the ground. Meanwhile, winds did keep giant balloons out of Philadelphia's Thanksgiving Day parade. And Madonna has canceled 3 dates of her Madame X tour dates in Boston, saying she was experiencing overwhelming pain. She told fans on Facebook, "Please forgive this unexpected turn of events." The star did not specify the cause of her injury. Those are your latest updates here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Listening to the general public. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Because
There are more questions than answers.
waiting to take your calls right now.
What the public is saying.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we have in studio Dr. Kenrick Webster here discussing the very hot topic of traffic. And we've covered a lot of different moving parts to the traffic topic. From briefly touched on what you do, Dr. Webster, which is the shifting of work hours.
Yes.
As one of the solutions, which is a great solution. One for the staff member, well, two for traffic. And it's one of the parts that can be taken into account. We've had carpooling and concerns on carpooling. It does require a change of consumer behavior and how we operate and how we think about our days and our schedules. Carpooling was a big thing when I was a child growing up. I remember one of my parents having a carpool at certain times. And it works. I mean, carpooling is a risk. It may not work within families, but it does work within neighborhoods. And that's one of the things about carpooling is that two kids from a house may not be going to UCCI for the same class, but two kids in the same neighborhood might be going to UCCI for the same class, and that requires the management of logistics. And there's ways I think to manage that in the same way dating services operate. You create a central database that matches.
Yeah,
literally.
But
sorry.
Yeah, in respect to the carpooling, like the previous caller mentioned, that's going to be very challenging. It
will be a challenge.
Very challenging in our environment. However, in some work environment, if you're working at the same business establishment and you're living close by, that may be able to work. But again, leaving work at a specific time and then you have to do something else, it can pose other challenges.
Without doubt.
So this is why I'm placing great emphasis on ensuring that we just start getting the public transportation system developed the correct way and have it managed. Because when we have to address the other issues, like, for example, importation of cars, because this has quantums to it. One has a ripple effect to another area.
Of course.
Unless we get the public transportation system, we're going to done properly, which will address one, a reliable system so persons can take the transportation system. It will also, and if you educate the persons who are taking that system to show them how economical it is to use public transport versus using their cars, some people will probably don't purchase a car if the system is reliable. So you'll have less cars on the road. Because not everyone who has a car on the road can afford to have the car. It's just that they have no other choice because the system is not reliable. So it's important that we get the public transportation system done properly, and you're going to see a lot of different changes once it's done right. In addition to the size of the vehicles that we have currently, I think we need to move to bigger size buses instead of having the small minivans, because that is also a challenge in respect to some people taking public transport. There are too many people in one bus. It's not safe. We need to get to stages where there's emergency exit vehicles on the buses, and in the event that something would happen.
Of course, yeah.
We need to look on it from a long-term aspect and also from a safety standpoint, because not only do we have and we want to attract persons who are living here, but we want to also attract the visitors so that they can have that experience of taking the public transport. Just like, when I go to some of developed countries, I want to take the subway to see, how the system is working, meet other people. So we need to change that also. The previous caller also mentioned something about going up in the air. That was not something that I suggested, so I'm not sure where that's coming from in respect
we had briefly touched on the monorail options previously when Mr. Freehill called in.
Yes, but that is not something that I would encourage, not here in the Cayman Islands, because it carries a lot of implications in respect to safety issues, knowing that we're in the hurricane belt. It has major concerns in respect to that. So I would not even entertain that idea.
Okay. We do have one caller on the line, but really quickly, but during the last break, we were touching on the roundabouts, and the last caller's very valid point that we have different drivers navigating these roundabouts in very, very different ways, creating very dangerous hurdles for individuals. We saw the King's Roundabout with a number of accidents when they opened up that second lane onto Linford Pearson. Number of accidents, and I think that light pole got knocked over 5 times in the first few months that it was set up. But you make a suggestion, which I think is just, it's got so much merit to it in regards to re-educating individuals how to utilize the roundabouts. I briefly talked about why don't we just put a police officer at every roundabout, and you touched upon that by saying, put them there, but use them there to re-educate the drivers. Walk through, just very briefly, your thoughts on that police officer at the roundabout scenario again.
Well, you could have like 2 police officers, one that identifies that that person has used the roundabout in a incorrect way. The other officer would stop that individual, by radio communication from the first officer to say license plate number 2555. That person did the roundabout incorrect. Then instead of penalizing that person by giving them a ticket, allow them to go back around on the roundabout. It's going to be at their expense, and do it correctly. And once they've done that once, they should be able to get it. And I think that we need to make steps like that and start finding ways of re-educating them, because just giving them a ticket does not solve the problem, because tomorrow they will go back and do the same thing. So I think this is something that we could try to implement. But going out into each district and also doing presentations, showing persons, how to use the roundabouts, I think that's going to help. And then you pull data information from that.
Of course,
You'll be able to have, persons pulling data to see exactly who arrive, those persons who with their driver's license and everything. And then eventually, after the whole exercise is done, if you see that there's certain people that has not gone through that process and they have been in the system for a period of time, then you can maybe call them up and have them go through the system voluntarily.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
It's a great one. We do have 2 callers on the line. First caller, good afternoon. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to Mr. Webster and to the other gentleman there. I didn't catch his name. I apologize for that.
It's just us 2 today.
You would need signs across the road, at the top of the road, like they do in the United States, approaching roundabouts. You're not going to get any results from trying to track license plates. We have over 3,500 people, as we know, cars that were unlicensed, uninsured, and so forth. We didn't manage to track them down. We've given them amnesty, which is millions of dollars, if you check it out over the years, that the government has lost in taxes. When I went to school doing mathematics, I was told, and I've never forgotten it over the 50-odd years since I've left school, for an equation to be solved, the algebraic sum of both sides must be equal to 0. We're going to upset that equation when we keep importing cars and trying to build roads and importing people, because we do have to find places for the people to live. The roads will have to encroach on the land that we're going to build houses for them to live in and so forth. Take a page from Bermuda. It's going to be painful for people, but it must be done. We must immediately restrict importation of cars. Everyone should never be allowed to import a car into the Cayman Islands, period. I've been saying this for many, many years. Many years. You should not be allowed. Other countries do not do it. They don't allow it. You have to have a dealer's license, and even they are restricted to importation. And we've seen what has happened here. It's simply a case of much too many vehicles for the size of our island, particularly Grand Cayman. So we have to restrict that immediately. It will be painful for people, but to solve any serious, very serious problem, you must suffer some pain. It must be restricted immediately. Even the dealerships should be restricted on how many cars they must sell off the cars they have at present. There's nothing wrong with buying a 2-year-old car from a dealership that's not gone any mileage, or so forth, or from anyone buying second-hand cars and sell them off. No, and willy-nilly everybody shouldn't be allowed, period, moving forward to import a car. We know our system of taxation is 99% based on consumption only, which means enough is never enough. More is always better. But we will look at that also. Look at Bermuda. They're smaller than we are. They have 75,000 people. They have about 8,000 vehicles, but they have a great public transport system. We can upgrade it. We can put bigger buses, as that person suggested. And this carpooling, like I have in the United States, I lived and worked there for several years. It will not work here. It'll barely work. It'll barely alleviate anything. That's a pie-in-the-sky idea. It may be good for a few and so forth. That won't work. We have to let the people bite the bullet. Courage, courage, courage. Sir Winston Churchill's famous words, courage. We have to have the courage to tell the people, enough is enough. That's it. No more cars imported. You'll use up what you have here for 2 or 3 years going forward, and then we will have immediately implement a public transport system. Bigger buses, yes, I agree with that suggestion, and that would mean less buses on the road, but also the government can subsidize the present private bus operators, and they must be strictly regulated and follow the rules. They must learn. Caribbean people, we don't like to follow rules, but we'll have to learn that rules must be obeyed, and the consequences of disobedience will be costly, and that's it. People have to learn that to solve these serious problems, we will suffer pain. We will suffer for a few years, and that's it. But we will see the end result will be much better. We must immediately implement a proper bus public transport system. It can be done quite easily, and we have to keep blaming our elected representatives for everything. Everybody must get down and realize this and suggest to them ways and means, and then, of course, restrict importation of cars and how many cars you can have. Bermuda has done it. They're in the same business as we are, the big financial world and the tourism, and they have done it successfully, and people obey. They only have 8,000 cars. That is the way it is. Not everyone can own a car. That is something we have to let people know. The majority of our people that are living here are not permanent residents. They're people passing through on work permits and so forth. We have to be realistic. We have to be realistic and stop living in my cousin Jim Barton's famous words. We're living in a dream world, Mickey. He'd say to me, we're living in a Disney world, is what he said. Have a wonderful day. I listen on.
Caller, thank you so much. We do appreciate your input as always. We do have one more caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. It's a hot topic. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome. Thanks for calling Talk today.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon to your guest. I don't remember his name. I apologize.
Guest hit news here. It's Dr. Kenneth Webster.
Dr. Kenneth Webster. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just want to make a few comments based on what I heard you said recently about the road, right before the first caller, about the roundabouts. I would like to find out if you could help us out with this. Is there any gazetted penal code for giving somebody tickets for using the roundabout in the wrong way? Because I can assure you that unless there's something in the traffic law that that says there's a right and a wrong way to use a roundabout. A roundabout was first thought of being used like a four-way, give way, first come, first serve. If a car is coming before you get there, obviously you have to yield. But at the end of the day, I think the roundabout system has been introduced to Cayman without proper road training and people going back to get classes or doing training to properly use a roundabout. I don't know how a police can watch a person on the corner of a roundabout and then come to the conclusion themselves and say you use it incorrectly, and then you can't ticket a person for using a roundabout incorrectly if there's no real correct way out there to use a roundabout. And if there is, have the government put in a penal codes and gazetted those laws in order to properly prosecute for wrongly using the roundabout. Because I can assure you, you can't just run giving everybody a ticket because of some police interpretation of how to use a roundabout, especially if there isn't any laws to back it up. You can find yourself in a lot of problems. And the reason why I say that is because I remember very recently there was a bypass that was built, and that bypass wasn't properly gazetted yet. They couldn't even put a speed limit sign on it. So when they were ticketing people for a speed limit, those people challenged the ticket and realized that there was no gazettion, so they couldn't penalize them because there wasn't any legal speed limit for that section of the road. So we got to be very careful how we suggest that a police officer should stand. And first of all, let me just say this. I think it's the biggest pile of foolishness for any police officer to be in a roundabout directing traffic, because it does not help. It causes more traffic than it's worth. In the afternoons at the Hurley roundabout, traveling from the Eastern District at 5:30, you got traffic backed up all the way to Prospect. And that is because we got police on the roundabout preventing people from taking their regular routes going into Georgetown. So they're not being productive, they're being counterproductive. And the mere sight of a police is an automatic instinct. People instinctively slow down or stop or rubberneck. And what it does is it causes more traffic than it actually helps. Now, again, I commend the police for trying to do something, because doing something is better than doing nothing. But when you realize that what you try to apply isn't working, you need to change your strategy. And the idea about having a police officer to radio ahead to say, oh, this guy with license plate number, and I agree with Mr. Mickey. I very seldom do, but I agree with him 100%. And I'll tell you, you can't have a police officer sitting on one side of the roundabout, presuming somebody used it wrongly, radioing ahead to his other police officers to say, pull that guy over, because you're not helping the situation. What needs to happen is a comprehensive training program for people to use the roundabouts properly. You remember now, a lot of those people that have licenses had licenses prior to these big introductions of roundabouts. Every 600 feet we got a roundabout. They think that roundabouts is the solution to all our traffic problems. When ironically they're becoming some of the largest causes of our traffic congestion. And to Mr. point, it's not the fact that we should stop importing cars, because you see the reason why, and I know Mr. Mickey knows this, and I'm not saying this for his benefit. The reason why we import so many cars every year is because it plays a large part of the GDP. We collect a tremendous amount of duties. Yeah, we collect a tremendous amount of duties for importation of cars, and without any alternative revenue streams to fill that gap, the government never stop bringing in cars. But what we can do, and I don't know if that's 6 of one, half dozen the other, but what we can do is do exactly what Mr. Mickey suggested. All of those people who are on temporary work permits, not allowed to have a driver's license. You're not supposed to be on no road driving no car, use the public transportation. That's what we need to start doing, making hard decisions. But, at the end of the day, people don't have to like them. They just have to get used to them and get accustomed to them, because, we're going to wait till this traffic problem get to a point where it's going to cost an immense amount of money to rectify, as opposed to trying to remedy the problem now. A simple law that says if you're on a temporary work permit, you can't have a driver's license, or you can't import a car, or you can't purchase a car. Simple. That would eliminate probably 15% of the drivers on the road, if not more. I don't know what the number is. But and I'm just going to hang up now. I just wanted to just say, the whole situation with the roundabout, my personal opinion is that putting police officers on the roundabouts to try to identify who used them correctly, I don't think that's going to be a very productive solution. I think they need to have comprehensive pamphlets and training programs to show people exactly how to use roundabouts, as opposed to police getting on the roundabout and creating more confusion and causing more issues because I can assure you that's exactly what they do. These police officers that are on the roundabout at Hurley's, half of them never been in a car in their life till they came on, and half of them used to be security workers, and now they're police directing traffic on the roundabout that everybody's confused about. So I think you guys need to restructure that approach. That's just my personal opinion. I'll listen into
caller. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate the some of the input there. Just a quick clarity on Dr. Carrick's previous discussion there and the conversation on Police on Roundabout. The initial talk was in regards to a comprehensive education plan and training plan. The segue into the Police on the Roundabouts was in relation to a comment I made as to whether simply placing a police officer at every roundabout would curtail the poor drivers that we see outside of peak times. On that note, we have a commercial break we do need to take. We'll be back with more Talk Today right after this commercial break.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Black Friday starts early in the Georgetown Shopping District this Thursday with the Island Plaza and Kirk Freeport. From 5 till 8 p.m. this Thursday, the 28th of November, the Island Plaza, Cardinal Avenue, and Bayshore Mall will all be open till 8 p.m. to give you the first chance to get huge discounts on jewelry, watches, fragrances, sunglasses, and accessories, and much more at the Black Friday sale. Start your Black Friday shopping early this Thursday, the 28th of November in Georgetown. Search the Georgetown Shopping District on Facebook for more information.
Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back for one whole week starting Monday, November 25th through Saturday, November 30th. Save big with assorted remnant tile, 200 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents per square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rug, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. It's the big blowout sale at Paramount Carpet, located 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 7:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpets.
Sitting is the new smoking. Yes, research has shown it. Many of the most dreaded diseases are caused by our sedentary lifestyle. Well, we have the answer.
Y'all ready for this?
Get the new Desk Cycle Pedal Exerciser. The Desk Cycle allows you to get valuable exercise while sitting, whether at your desk, at work, watching TV, reading a book, or talking on the phone. Get fit, lose weight, stay healthy with the new Desk Cycle. And now, for this Friday only, get the Desk Cycle for $125 in our Black Friday half-price sale. Call 326-3726 or email deskcyclecayman@gmail.com.
The referendum for the cruise berthing and cargo facility is on the 19th of December. Will you be traveling or overseas on referendum day? You can still cast your vote by postal ballot. The deadline for postal ballot applications is December 7th. For more information about how to apply, visit www.elections.ky and get set to vote.
Cayman Brack, yes, it is your turn. The Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run.
The Brack Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run is almost here. To all of our Brack families, join us on Saturday, November 30th at 6:30 a.m. Southside Public Beach.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now.
Register today at District Administration.
Listening to the general public.
The Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Because
there are more questions to answer.
Waiting to take your calls right now.
What the public is saying.
And thanks tuning in to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, in case you're just tuning in. And joined in studio with Dr. Kendrick Webster here discussing the recent traffic, or not recent traffic, but the traffic issues that we are looking to curtail and find solutions for. Dr. Kendrick.
Yeah, well, thanks for addressing that last caller in respect to the concerns about educating the public in how to use the roundabouts, because definitely that was my first thought in respect to the roundabouts, because like I said before, people had been driving on the roads for some 40 or 50 years before some of these roundabouts came into effect. And, you know, if the caller missed that part, I just want to make sure I reiterate what I said earlier, was the fact that we should, you know, not only just through pamphlets, but just go and do a drive, go through the different districts and educate the people in respect to, you know, proper ways on using the roundabout. So I just hope that brings clarity in respect to that. But there was another caller before that, Mr. Mickey. So I just wanted to address the issue with Bermuda and the system that they have there. I looked into that system, and the system is good. It's an excellent program. One house per household, one car per household. And even if you have two registered properties, for example, if you would have a rental property and you want to try to use that as getting a secondary car, they do not allow that in Bermuda. You have to allow that car or that registration for the car for the persons who's renting that apartment, so they can have access to a car. But you can't get away with just trying to use multiple properties to get more cars. So the system is good. And of course, I mean, yes, you have to, you know, have that word courage, but I'm going to emphasize again, we have to make sure that the public transportation system is developed properly so that other people can be encouraged to use the system, and it has to be reliable.
That's an excellent way to end that conversation. But you're absolutely right, because I mean, with that, before we can start implementing, the wise way to do it, before any legislation is put in place to start restricting how a capitalist environment operates, we need to ensure that we have a public transportation system that we can fall back upon. Ultimately, any economy, people do need to move. We're very much like money. We circulate around the economy in order to make the economy function. And we do need that public transportation in effect. And I'll go back to a comment that I made earlier. The traffic situation is a tough one. It requires us to plan much better as families. It requires us to plan much better as employers and make concessions on different fronts. It is a good problem to have. And by that, I'm going to qualify that statement by saying it's a sign of a robust economy when you have this many vehicles on the road. It's that many more people going to work. And I'll reference a comment made in the LA the other day that with the rising permit numbers, that has correlated to rising traffic. However, it's also correlated to a decrease in Canadian unemployment. There is a silver lining there. It's a huge silver lining. It's that many more people who do have whether it's sufficient or not is a different category there, but do have access to employment. And it's a sign that we do have a robust economy. We see our traffic issues, but we do need to address it. There's no question about it. Everybody from politicians to every laborer knows that we have to find a way to address the public transportation. As one caller earlier did say, there has to be a personal accountability on everyone. Maybe carpooling is not the be-all and end-all for everyone, but it is for some, and small manageable steps across the board. Many moving parts to this, and as you said, Dr. Kendrick, a functional system, maybe some public-private partnership in there down the road, but there does have to be better alignment of the public transportation system.
Definitely. And, the purpose of, having this discussion was not only to address the current issues, but to try to also, get the dialogue from and information from the general public, and also to suggest some of the things that we can do to help try to improve on the system that we have now and the problems that we have. And one of the things that I mentioned to you earlier off the air was the fact that even with dual carriageways, where you have heavy equipment vehicles moving, transporting things. Basically, what you could do, you could have a designated line, like the lane, sorry. The left lane could be designated for slow-moving vehicles on a dual carriageway. Because oftentimes you're on a dual carriageway and you find two, not necessarily just heavy equipment, but you find two slow-moving vehicles parallel to each other, and you're stuck behind there for, 10 or 15 minutes. And if you have 10 cars that could be off the road within a shorter period of time, it would save a lot of congestions later on down the road. So I think we need to maybe start looking on where we have situations with dual carriageways where the left lanes are designated for slow-moving vehicles. If you decide, you know what, I just want to drive 20 miles today, then you stay in the left lane. Then the other lane could be used for persons who want to move and get off the road, in a quicker manner and safe manner. So that's also going to help with this road raging and stuff that we experience on a daily basis.
Road rage, anger, family time. It's more than I'm sure the domestic violence group will probably step in and say, yeah, I probably could help in that front as well. There's a lot of moving parts that less traffic will definitely help with. Happier students, happier employees.
Yes.
Many moving parts to it. We're way over time, so before I get in too much trouble, I can only blame Dwayne for so much here. On that note, we do need to call it a wrap for Talk Today this afternoon. Thank you, as always, to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio K-Man Nation, and to our guests from the Christmas Singing Tree, Jasmine, who unfortunately was not able to be in for the studio today, and Dr. Kendrick Webster. We do look forward to seeing all of our listeners out there in Cayman Brac on Saturday for the Brac Breeze Fusion at Southside Public Beach. Registration will be open until 6:15 on Saturday morning. One more comment here quickly from Dr. Kendrick.
Yes, I just want to say to the callers that called in, thank you for the calls and your dialogue and engagement into this exercise, because I think this is one of the first exercise with many more to come. I just think it's something that it's not one person idea or one person that is going to solve the problem. I think if it's a constant dialogue and some of these ideas that are brought from different persons is going to help or should be able to help the government at the end of the day make a decision in respect to improving on the public transportation system and being able to actually deal with all of these issues that you have on a daily basis, which is the concerns of importation of vehicles, public transport, safety of pedestrians, and of course, it goes to a macro level where you have lighting, which is an issue, and with the recent fatalities with pedestrians on the road, I think it's important that we start looking on making sure that we do the right thing to develop the system right, make sure that drivers understand how important it is to know how to correctly use the road and to avoid having situations like what we've had recently. So I want to thank you very much for having me on the show today. And it was a very informative and a great dialogue with the general public. And I want to thank them for their time and engagement.
If the callers want to, or the public want to reach you to discuss these concerns any further, is there a contact they can reach you at?
Yes, 916-3289. That number again is 916-3289.
916-2389. Fantastic. Dr. Webster, thank you again for coming in. As always, it's been a pleasure filling in for Sterling. And until next time, I'm Raymond Singh. God bless and have a fantastic rest of your Thursday and Thanksgiving and the rest of your week.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.